Hey guys, welcome to the Liberal Hive Mind, a channel solely focused on exposing the abundant hypocrisy of the left. I cannot freaking believe it. Remember just the other day we spoke about this clip from RFK Jr.?
And now the Democratic Party has given us a loophole around that mandate. All you have to know is 7 words, and you never have to admit to doing anything wrong again. And do you know what those 7 words are? I was born in the middle class.
Of course, the clip a little bit indirect, but it was obvious who he was talking about. RFK Jr. was referencing Kamala Harris, essentially calling her your typical dishonest politician, and of course he hit the nail on the head big time. Kamala Harris, when faced with most questions, always defaults to the same frickin' thing, and one of her go-to lines is, I was born in a middle-class family. Empty political platitudes, political rhetoric, used to respond to questions that she doesn't want to go into detail on, or that she's completely clueless on, and boy did RFK Jr. hit the nail on the head, because literally the next frickin' day, Kamala Harris does the thing. She did the thing. Holy moly, folks. It's no wonder they're keeping this lady in the basement. She is an absolute monumental disaster. She is a walking, talking dumpster fire. As if the Oprah Winfrey interview wasn't bad enough, now she does an interview with a couple meatheads from the NBA, and pretty much as expected, I've lost IQ points after being subjected to that podcast. Let me show you guys exactly what happened. We got some stuff to get into. Kamala Harris does the thing. Let's roll the tape. All right, folks, so just take a look at this.
Going from a show to a whole entire company, what is your economic plan moving forward for people who are living paycheck to paycheck and struggling for groceries and rent and homeowners?
So, look, I grew up, my sister and I were raised by our mother. We lived for a long time in an apartment on top of a child care center. That child care center was actually owned by a woman who lived 2 doors down from us, Mrs. Shelton, who was, by all of our accounts and feelings, our second mother. She helped raise us. And so she was a small business owner. So I'll start with the small business, and congratulations on what you guys have done. I, from a child, knew who our small business owners are, right? I mean, you're business leaders, but you're also civic leaders. You take seriously your voice and how you can mentor, how you can grow, right? Communities and the sense of communities. I love our small businesses. And so a lot of my work in terms of building and growing the economy has focused on small businesses. And my vision overall is we need to build an opportunity economy in which we increase opportunity for all, including small business owners. So a lot of my work, even in the Senate, was about increasing access to capital through our small businesses, and in particular through our community banks. Mm-hmm. So I've been responsible for billions of dollars more now going into our community banks, because they're in the community, and then they know who's in the community and where the talent is and who's doing good in the community, what the community wants. And so part of my plan as president.
So Kamala Harris was asked a question about her specific economic plans, what she's going to do for people who are living paycheck to paycheck and struggling, and her immediate impulse is, well, look, I grew up in an apartment above a child care center. What does that mean? What is the purpose of that? It's actually absurd. It's insane. People are looking for concrete, actual policies, actual economic understanding. What are the issues? Isolate the issues. Like a doctor, go in, give your diagnosis, and attempt to cure. That's what people are looking for. What are you going to do to make life more affordable? And her immediate response is, I grew up in a middle-class family. It is so incredibly cringe. But once again, it displays what we've been talking about and what we already know. It's a disingenuous tactic, a way to deflect attention from her glaring inability to address economic issues. She cannot address the issues that everyday Americans are facing because she simply doesn't know what the hell she's talking about. It's so incredibly frustrating, and frankly, I find it's an insult to the intelligence of the American people. Her go-to strategy is invoking vague personal anecdotes instead of explaining her policies. And that right there exposes her true weakness as a candidate. Kamala Harris simply doesn't understand the intricacies of economic policy, nor does she have a coherent vision for the country's financial future. The reason she avoids engaging with these questions specifically is obvious. Just do a little deep dive into her economic stances, and what you'll reveal is a whole bunch of collectivist, borderline Marxist ideals lurking beneath the talking points. The talking points are meant to distract from that. She's advocating for higher taxes, wealth distribution, government expansion in nearly every single sector. Her policy preferences align closely with a form of soft collectivism that is wildly unpopular with regular Americans. So what does she do? She wraps it all up in feel-good rhetoric, all the while refusing to defend her policies because she knows that she would be exposed essentially as a Marxist. And that's probably why all the talking heads in the media are throwing a hissy fit about the memes portraying Kamala Harris as a communist.
They believe that she is a communist, that she is a socialist. There are these memes going around with her dressed in a Mao Zedong suit with a cap that has a hammer and sickle. So that's what you're up against right now. And frankly, that's something that she has to address, not Governor Walz. She ultimately has to address this because these images that they have created are actually taking off.
That's the thing what I find so frightening is that we're in an age where, I hear what you're saying.
Ooh, it's so dangerous. It's so obvious what the agenda is here. They want so badly to hide the truth. They want to hide the truth about Kamala Harris's flip-flops on key issues. From healthcare to taxes, one moment she's touting Medicare for all, which is collectivist, communist-style policy, and the next she's walking it back. It's no wonder she refuses to answer questions. We saw that during the debate quite clear. Anytime she has to go into detail about anything, she defaults to regurgitating empty political rhetoric. And then, of course, hits you with the free crap line. Kamala Harris, what are your economic policies? You'll hear absolutely nothing of substance except for the dreams and the aspirations of the people, and then I'm gonna give you free money. Subsidies, subsidies, subsidies. I've only ever heard her say two things. We will support small businesses, not exactly sure how. She keeps claiming she's gonna increase corporate taxes, so I don't know what she means by that. And the second thing, the next element of her economic plan is $25,000 home buying subsidies for first-time home buyers. Not good economic policy, just a government-funded handout. And when I say government-funded, I mean taxpayer-funded. In other words, she wants to take your money and give it to young people in order to overstimulate the housing market, most likely causing yet again another housing bubble, increasing the cost of homes across the nation right at the tail end of an inflationary crisis. It's absolutely absurd. The dishonesty of it all, the deception, but in my view, the biggest issue here isn't just her dishonesty, it's her fundamental incompetence. Kamala Harris has never demonstrated any real grasp of economics. She doesn't seem to understand the importance of growth, innovation, the vitality of the private sector. Instead, she prioritizes cultural and identity issues over the economic well-being of the country. It's absurd to me. I talk about the cultural stuff, but I always try to put the biggest emphasis on policy and especially economic policy, because at the end of the day, the most important thing, what impacts people the most, are economic policies, not the cultural nonsense. A common sense economic platform should be the foundation of any serious leader's policy platform, especially in a time where Americans are struggling with inflation, stagnant wages, and job insecurity. Economic policy should be at the front and center. But of course, with Kamala Harris, she's totally out of her depth, and so she prefers to skirt around the edges with these overly vague talking points that clearly are designed to fool dumb people, ignorant people, uneducated people into voting for her instead of actually offering real solutions. In other words, TLDR, she's absolutely freaking clueless, but she still wants to be president just because. And so it's obvious she's willing to say literally anything to get elected. I was born in a middle-class family. That's not an economic policy. Just freaking insane. Anyways, that's pretty much what I got for you guys. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to leave a like and possibly subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.